Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's day is Sunday, the 21st of September 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. We're going to have to talk about this video, literally this video of this gentleman in the mask, as they described him, that's actually got over 1 million views that Instagram is now trying to hide. They've actually put this on a YouTube video where the guy was literally asking questions on it and he didn't get an answer because the guy just didn't know what to say. And he goes, oh, it's a little bit above my pay grade. Mate, just literally check the blockchain. The number one is now no longer there. It's not Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. We're going to have to talk about this. Concerned citizen says Keir Starmer and the UK government support first cousin marriages in Britain. You know, and we know where that sort of like ends up like that. Finishes like this. This is why they want it. And it looks like now anybody can make up and abide by their own laws in this country due to the woke left. Honestly, the treason is unbelievable. And again, you know, you make up your own laws. That's what you can do. Yeah, it's outrageous. Got a treasonous video here of Emily Maitland interviewing Keir Starmer, where he says he'd just rather choose the WF, obviously. We've got some Bitcoin news here. Neil Oliver getting stuck in. We'll have a quick look at the figures. Got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we'll finish with the Kellen Schweller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alright, here we go. So I titled this one, How to Dodge the Elephant in the Room When You Haven't Got an Answer. And this was them looking at the podcast reels. And the guy said he's been about 50 people sent him this one. Obviously, it's got over 1 million views, but I'm trying to watch the viewing figures on Instagram and they've now hidden them. They've taken them away. So they're clearly concerned. But let's have a look, see what this guy says here. Here we go.
If things go sideways. So I want to share this video with you, get your take on it, and then talk about the difference between signal and noise and what you see is really going on. Because on Instagram, on YouTube, you'll often see people saying, oh, BlackRock is going to co-opt it, governments are going to co-opt it, it's the CIA, Michael Saylor is going to control the whole network. So of course, let's get your reaction to this video and go from there. So we'll watch it here.
Because nobody wants to know the truth, and that's why I'm wearing a mask, because I'm getting the truth out there.
Jeez, so what you're saying is everything else other than Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme?
Yes, but there's something more to it. So when I say Bitcoin, I'm referring to the protocol that commoditizes data. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto did a genius thing when he created Bitcoin. He created all genuine Bitcoin legacy addresses to start with the number one. So if you change the protocol, you cannot have the number one as a legacy address because the number one will only accept payments in Bitcoin that has gone through the Bitcoin protocol. Now, when these central banks wanted to corrupt Bitcoin, they colluded with the exchanges to list their alternative central bank created currency as BTC, so it stole the market price. But what they didn't want people to know is that the legacy addresses now no longer start with the number one, which means it's not Bitcoin. It's not gone through the Bitcoin protocol. It's a centrally controlled, worthless piece of shit. And that's the one that's at $100,000 right now, with almost a $2 trillion market cap. It's the biggest fraud in financial history ever.
Really? Sensational claims there. What does Tony have to say about it?
Before I get into this video itself, let's rewind a little bit to understand, you know, why Bitcoin is such a big deal and why.
This is where he starts talking absolute nonsense, like just literally trying to avoid the question. And later on, when the guy actually pushes him to sort of like answer the question, he says, "Oh, it's just noise." I'll see if I can find that bit.
Why do
As far as quantum threats, I don't see that anytime soon. I think we're at least a process to follow to upgrade your wallets and your infrastructure in order to become quantum resistant.
Yeah.
I think this happens very soon. I don't think we're going to wait until we have an attack to get the solution. I think the solution will be readily available way before then.
But for the newbies listening, what is a fork? Like, what does it mean?
It's like it's a different version of it. Like you make a copy of it, but it's an upgraded version with enhancements and protections and all that account for all of these scenarios.
Who does that coding? Who does that work?
There's Bitcoin developers worldwide. There's a lot of them that are anonymous that are working on the code. There's a lot of private groups that we know of and some of that we don't know of. That make their contributions to this whole thing. Bitcoin's code is the most watched code in the history of code because it's so valuable and such like an important and critical piece of humanity that there are so many people obsessively watching it to ensure nothing goes wrong. This is why I'm extremely bullish on the future, and we start seeing this more through.
Oh, it must be safe because people are obsessively watching it. What a joke.
Like recent events, like the core versus knots thing and all that. This just illustrates to me that there are a lot of people bullishly passionate about protecting Bitcoin than there are those that are trying to disrupt it for whatever moronic reason.
Yeah.
So the quantum resistance thing falls, in that basket.
But the node operators will vote, right?
Yes, of course.
That's how
of course.
it works.
Running a node is a must for every Bitcoin.
Because that's what gives you power as a Bitcoiner. Is you get a vote when you run a node,
Absolutely.
Right? But it doesn't matter whether you got $100 million worth of Bitcoin or $10 of Bitcoin.
Correct.
If you've got a node, you get the same vote.
That's
correct?
right. Absolutely. Every Bitcoiner should be running a node. If you don't like what somebody else is deciding, you can just ignore them, run your own node, life goes on.
Right. And so the Bitcoin that people hold is still valid, even if you don't adopt what the other...
Absolutely.
Fork, yeah.
Absolutely. As long as you hold it yourself,
Right.
in self-custody. You don't leave it with an institution. You don't leave it on an exchange. You certainly don't custody it in a bank. You certainly don't involve a collaborative custody, like an institutional collaborative custody, to bring them into your business. You and you alone have to learn the skills to hold and manage and use Bitcoin 100%. They're not hard.
For a lot of Australians listening to this, if you've tried to buy Bitcoin lately, you will know that the banks will try to stop you from transferring what you thought was your money to a crypto exchange to buy Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
And so this is the exact problem that Tony is trying to explain to you right now, that when you leave your Bitcoin on an exchange, it's like leaving your money.
Next move, they're going to seize your bank account.
Yes.
They're going to do it because that's the only play they have left. If all the creative attempts have failed, what's the next logical move? The only thing they have access to, which is all the savings accounts in banks. Australia, Lebanon, UK, Europe, United States, it's all the same shithole, all based on the same Ponzi. At some point, your turn will come, and you don't want to be a casualty of that event. I assure you of that.
You deal with clients from all over the world who come to you for Bitcoin. They come to you for cybersecurity. I don't know if I've got time to talk about that now, and they come to you for, and that's actually quite interesting as well, helping people privatize their communications, which is something that's coming the Bitcoin way. But you also help people with the Plan B residency,
Correct.
which is getting out of places like Australia, tokens that are capturing my time.
Is working on a solution.
And it would expose all banks and all assets. Everything would be hackable.
If we had a quantum problem, Bitcoin would be the last of your concerns because the entire world would blow up.
Yeah, right.
So,
But how does Bitcoin change happen? Like, what is a consensus network?
I believe it'd probably be a fork of it. They'd probably hard fork it, like upgrade it, so to speak, into a version that is resistant to all of this. And, there'll be a process to follow to upgrade your wallets and your infrastructure in order to become quantum resistant.
Talking about changing it, I mean, the guy still hasn't even figured it out yet. Oh, it can be changed. It can be changed. That's the whole point of the protocol. You're not meant to change it. And if you change it, you lose the #1 legacy address. That's the key signal.
Other than pushing a narrative to have enough people believe that they do. But as soon as you understand the technology, it becomes very quickly apparent that you can opt out, ignore this world completely, and there's nothing they can do about it. That is the power of Bitcoin, which is why you never hear any government or institution mention two words: self-custody.
Yeah.
Why? Because that is the revolution. Bitcoin was created for self-custody. That is how you, me, and 8 billion people take full control of our time and energy without any theft anymore.
And this comes down, to me, to the very spiritual heart of what Bitcoin is, because we are all granted a certain amount of time on this earth by something higher than a government. Now, whether you...
Oh, it's getting boring. I'm going to have to find it.
So music sharing. Countless.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of piracy today? At 80 or 90%. So they couldn't stop it. So if you can't stop something as meaningless as music sharing, do you honestly think they're going to be able to stop peer-to-peer money?
Yeah.
The only mechanism human beings have to regain full control of their lives, their full time and energy, and not have to report to anyone. That is a very empowering position to be in. Self-custody is unconfiscatable power, and it literally changes the way you walk through this world. You are no longer asking for permission, like, at all.
Tokens that are capturing my, having a majority of my wealth in Bitcoin now is, what do you do when you need money? Now, even like when I say money, I mean fiat, shit money. Yeah. Everyone watching this knows this now, and Australians are starting to figure this out, that it's actually not prices going up at Woolies, it's the dollar becoming worth less.
Nice t-shirt. Somebody might assume you have money. That's how basic.
Oh, it looks like I can't find it. I'll have to come back to it. But it says, he asks a question and says, what about this guy in the mask, who's saying that, the number one legacy address is no longer there. What's your opinion on that? And he says, oh, it's just noise. Literally, that's all he says. It's just noise. There is no rationale and there's no reasonable explanation behind it. Oh, it's just noise. Well, actually, he's trying to give you some information here. He's telling you that the legacy address has changed, and you just said that developers can change it whenever we want, and it's safe because there's loads of people watching it. What if they've been sold a lie and deceived, and the number one legacy address has changed and they don't know? Honestly, it's just so ridiculous. Talking about ridiculousness, let's have a listen to this clip here.
A marriage between first cousins carries significant health issues, many of which aren't even knowable until post-birth. When practiced generation after generation, there is a significant multiplier effect. In addition, the real impacts for the openness of our society and women's rights in our country are also significant. After all, there are significant dynamics in sharing a same set of grandparents. On Friday, this government has a choice to let my bill go through to ban first cousin marriage to committee stage. Will the Prime Minister think again before instructing his whips to block this legislation?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we've taken our position on that bill. Thank you.
And that was it. That was literally the answer, and we know why. Because if you have marriages like this, for example, and a child is born, and then the father dies, and you say to the kid, "Look, are you all right?" And he's like, "Well, not really, because when I was born, my dad was old enough to be my granddad, and my mum was old enough to be my sister." So where's the knowledge? Where's the knowledge that his mum, that's old enough to be his sister, hasn't got any knowledge because she hasn't even grown up yet? And the old man who wasn't really going to talk to them anyway, well, now he's gone. So you're literally breeding a generation of ignorant kids, and where this ends up, like this. They've got no knowledge. They literally don't know anything. They haven't been brought up with anything. So you literally end up with kids throwing rocks at fully armoured tanks and vehicles and bulldozers. It is absolutely ridiculous, and this is why they want it. They literally want to breed a generation of, or they also, it's that kind of culture that creates retardations as well. So you're going to have a generation of inbred retardations, and this is how it finishes. It just makes it easy to fulfill their religious agenda of literally wanting to absolutely completely reset and destroy everything in this world. That's why they're doing it, and Keir Starmer's just admitted it. It's just a long-term plan that's going to go on for thousands of years, but this is where it finishes. Scary stuff. And talking about scary stuff, look. The Minister for Courts, Sarah Sagman, has urged Sharia courts must be allowed in the UK under the banner of religious tolerance. So literally, we can now make up our own laws and abide by them. The whole point of having laws in a country, and ignorance of the law is no excuse, is because people share a set of common values and they can create a society and get along, understanding those laws so that nobody causes any harm, injury or loss. Oh, and when you start bringing in your own laws, well, people can just simply make up their own laws and do what they want. And this is what happens. This is why we need Bitcoin, because the banks that are funding all of this are just completely out of control right now. Utterly out of control. And talking about being out of control, let's have a listen to this.
Let us just ask you quickly, you have to choose now between Davos or Westminster.
Davos.
Why?
Because Westminster is too constrained. And, you know, it's closed and we're not having meaning. Once you get out of Westminster, whether it's Davos or anywhere else, you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future. Westminster is just a tribal shouting place.
Let us just ask you quick.
So what the fuck is he doing as Prime Minister of the UK when he would rather choose Davos, as in like WEF? And Emily Maitland's in on this as well. Yeah, she knows full well what she's doing. All absolute treacherous people. Pardon my French. Well, let's have a look at this. Cointelegraph. So they said Bitcoin will accelerate as the world heads into the fourth turning. Analyst. Oh, really? Fourth turning? And they said BTC will continue to appreciate and gain adoption. Bullshit. As the global financial and geopolitical system is reshaped in the coming decades. Gregcoin is poised to grow in price and adoption regardless of the macroeconomic scenarios that will unfold in the coming years and decades. What, that Gregcoin doesn't do anything? As the global financial system heads for a fourth turning style reset. They want to reset, according to market analysis Jordi Visser. Visser told Anthony Pompilano that the average person has lost confidence in all legal legacy institutions. Well, yeah. Which should drive investment to BTC. Oh dear. A neutral, permissionless global asset not tied to governments or traditional organizations. It's tied to Tether. It's completely tied to Tether. It wouldn't even exist without Tether because it doesn't do anything. Oh my goodness. The fourth turning is a reference to a book written by William Strauss as Neil Howe that described the cynical rise and fall of nations due to predictable integration patterns. It said Bitcoin is a trustless thing. It was set up first to deal with the fact that I don't trust the banks. We're now past the banks, Visser said. He then added, I don't trust my employer, I don't trust the government, I don't trust the banks, I don't trust the currency, I don't trust the debt, I don't trust anything. And so I don't see how all of a sudden I don't see how you all of a sudden get the trust back. Well, yeah, you can't really until you actually have a money that we can actually use, which is why Satoshi Nakamoto called Bitcoin a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Because cash is the most liquid form of money. But these shitcoiners with shit for brains can't figure it out. You know? I mean, who knows? Maybe they've got, inbred parents in their family tree somewhere. Pfft, jeepers. Neil Oliver has said here, it all comes back to money. The corrupt money system is teetering on the brink. Their only way of maintaining the illusion they're rich is a CBDC. The only way CBDC happens is via digital ID. Say no to digital ID and the illusion disappears. So again, he's warning about CBDC and digital ID, but you have to remember also, the CBDC is a debt token because the central bank digital currency is what going to replace fiat currency, and fiat currency is a debt-based currency. So the CBDC is literally going to be a debt token. People will drop it like a hot potato. So that's why when they bring it in, they're very quickly going to turn it into a social credit score. Instead of a debt token, it's going to be a credit token. Oh, well done. You got a social credit. You behaved really well. Well done. Or like carbon credits and all this crap. That's where it's headed. But like literally, we either have a common money used by the people to create government that works for the people, or government will create currency to control the people. That is literally how it is going to end. One of those two ways. There is no other way. There's no other way. And it's going to be, we won't even have lives because they will take literally everything from us. So this is why I'm trying to wake people up and explain what Bitcoin is. And again, of those guys in the videos to start with, he goes, I didn't really understand what the guy in the video was saying. It's above my pay grade. What, you don't understand numbers, mate? Literally, it's just got a number 1. If you change the number 1, it's not Bitcoin. It's not gone through the Bitcoin protocol. It's part of the template. And then he was also talking about how, oh yeah, I spend it on my card. I spend Bitcoin on my card. Mate, you didn't spend Bitcoin on your card. You dumped Bitcoin. They gave you fiat value and you transferred the fiat value. So in other words, you're not creating a Bitcoin economy. That person that you spent your Bitcoin with did not receive Bitcoin. They received fiat currency, which again is a debt token, or it's an indebted financial instrument, is what it is. Which is why the world's going to shit. And these people are just saying, "Oh, it's above my pay grade. Oh, I don't really understand it." I'm like, jeepers, just grow a brain cell. Anyway, let's have a look at the quick figure. Look at the figures here. So we've got, look at this, 62% of the transaction volume, although we've normally used to more than that. 87% of the block size. Let's have a look at some of the blocks coming through. Oh, they look all right. 56, 20. So that means there's more megabytes in those two blocks. And the entire column of Gregcoin, 16, 44, 17, 28, 13. Yeah, not too bad. Nothing to write home about, though, compared to the gigabyte blocks that we're used to seeing. Currently 35,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Oh, look at this. Mining Bitcoin at a 7.7% comparable profit. You believe it? Usually you're mining at a 30, 40, 50% comparable loss. I'm telling you, the gate is open, ready for the horse to bolt. That's what it's all about. Let's have a look at the quick politics in the pie charts then. Here we go. Global hash rate 7 days, 24 hours. Gregcoin hash rate other miners 9.2. Bcrash other miners 13. VAR BTC 54. This Fisher Price Cash other miners 51% on there. And again, CoinDart's not reporting the figures correctly for Bitcoin. Wonder why. Look at this though. Let's just refresh this page. What are the figures now? 788,000 transactions in the last 24 hours. Over 100,000 transactions more than XRP. Way ahead of a Gregcoin there. So we're in second place behind the big dog in terms of utility. And everyone's going on about, oh, BTC doesn't do anything, so we're going to have to use Ethereum because Ethereum's a utility blockchain. Really? Well, there's one that's ranked about 100 in market cap, and it's in second place, chomping at the heels of Ethereum, and Ethereum can't scale. But this one can. You just watch. Gonna be amazing. Right, we've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history on the 21st of September. Again, I've got nothing. Because there wasn't really too much going on in September. But on the 22nd of September, because there won't be a show tomorrow, Jack Dorsey said sellers should never have to miss out on a sale. They can accept cash, they can accept a check, they can accept Bitcoin. And this is when Bitcoin was working properly, before the central banks subverted it into the piece of shit that we've got today. Right, crazy. Right, here we go, the 21st of September. We're now on day 3 of the Kelly Schreller countdown because we're counting up after these zeros. So we'll just see how long it takes to get to the event that I'm going to be talking about, that I won't reveal until we get there. But when we do, it's going to be fantastic. So press like button, hit subscribe. You're not going to want to miss all the shenanigans that happens between now and then. It's going to be absolutely epic. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next one. It won't be tomorrow because I'm actually away, doing some media, appointments that I've got. So we'll do another show as soon as I get back. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. See you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.